Hey guys, welcome back to Smart Start University. This week, I want to talk a little bit more about leadership. And usually while I try to just cover one point in this video, I'm going to cover two in this one because they go really hand in hand and they go together really nicely. And the first idea here is called the circle of safety, and it comes from Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. And it's really built on this idea that, hey, when it's just you and me and we're competing, right, we're going to compete with each other. So sometimes in a corporate environment or in a workforce, right, you're going to be competing with the person next to you for the promotion, right? And so you're trying to cover your own tracks so you don't look bad or so that you make sure you look extra good. And what Simon Sinek talks about in the book is he talks about building the circle of safety where you know and you trust that your teammates are on your team. And so you're all working towards a common goal. And there's actually an old proverb that exemplifies this. And it says, me against my brother and I against our cousin, and all of us against the stranger, right? So what's happening there? Well, you're expanding your circle of safety. So in the first situation, it's just you against your brother. But when it's you and your brother, you guys have that circle of safety. You're covering each other's weaknesses. You're helping each other against your cousin. And when you, your brother, and your cousin all come together, then you're going to hold together again against the stranger. And I think you might see that in your relationships, right? You may have some fighting with your friends sometimes. You may have disagreements. But when someone comes and attacks one of your friends, you're right there for them, right? You come together in that group. And so a circle of safety is something that we build naturally in a lot of our interactions. But it's especially important for whenever you're leading a team. And one of the big ways to do that, there are a ton of different ways and a ton of different aspects, and it's a longer process. But one of the cool ways to do that is this thing called tone setting. And it's basically built on the idea that we as humans mirror each other. So if you come in as a leader and you kind of have a flippant attitude and you don't think the project's that important or whatever the case may be, right? Think of the most extreme example, right? Someone comes in and doesn't want to do the work and isn't wanting to lead anyone, is just saying, figure it out, right? Well, how do you think the team's going to respond? There may be one or two people who really stress and make it happen, but most likely what you're going to have is a group of people who are frustrated with each other and are trying to, undercut one another and get the praise and the credit, right? If we're like, oh wow, I saved the team. But think about what the alternative could be. If you're intentional to go ahead and pursue, hey, let's make a circle of safety here. Let me get to know my teammates and let me tone set. Let me come in and say, hey, this is a bigger project. What are we working towards here, right? Because we could totally infight. We could totally fight for who gets the credit and who gets what recognition. But honestly, I think we're all here because we're trying to help advance XYZ cause, right? And so you can go ahead and literally just make it, broaden that circle and put yourselves together. So instead of it being you against your teammate, it can be you and your teammates and all your teammates against whatever cause you're trying to change. And so one of the things that I get asked when I talk about this is, well, how long does it take, right? I'm leading this team for 2 weeks. How long does it take? Well, it's gonna vary. And I think one of the things Simon Sinek said in one of his talks is he said, if you have a friend who's going ahead and he just went on a first date with a girl and he's super excited and he's thrilled, and he's like, this is the one, I'm gonna marry her, I'm gonna get engaged next week. They're gonna be like, whoa, buddy, like pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not sure, like go on a second date first, get to know her a little bit better. But at the same time, if you have a friend who's been dating this girl for 7 years or 8 years, kind of like, what's wrong here? Why aren't you going to get married, or why aren't you pursuing marriage, right? And so we don't know exactly how long trust takes, but it's probably somewhere between 7 days and 7 years. So if you're leading a team in the short term, start building that same focus on that circle of safety. Start tone setting, start looking at how can I develop our team to really trust one another and to work for like us against an outside cause. And that's going to be really key, because if you do that, you're able to go ahead and have that power, like we said. And instead of being that all that infighting and fighting for recognition, you become a unified group that changes from me to we and really strives to advance a cause. So that said, that's this week's leadership update. Go ahead and build that circle of safety and tone set. Go ahead and set an example of what you want your team to respond like. And that's going to be it for this week, and I will see you guys next week. All right, bye.